Hello, everyone. This is Liz. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's doing well. It's certainly cooler than it was yesterday. If anything, I even went outside and I'm like, oh well, I don't feel like I'm going to die, so that's nice. Today is What's on Hulu Day, and as always, I have some recommendations, both film and television. The first I'm going to recommend is one of the newer movies on Hulu right now, and that is Rocket Man. So that was came out last year. That is the Elton John story, and this was also directed by I'm blanking. His name was Dexter Fletcher, I believe, but it's the man who finished up Bohemian Rhapsody after noted creep Brian Singer basically was so messed up couldn't even finish. Now, granted, most of Bohemian Rhapsody I think is still Brian Singer's movie, but I'm not saying anybody who liked Bohemian Rhapsody is wrong. It's okay to like a movie, but I watch Rocket Man and I see how creative it is and how fun it is and the decisions that Fletcher makes in telling the story, and I get very frustrated because I'm like, man, I would have liked to have seen this guy's version of Bohemian Rhapsody. Again, it's okay to like a movie. I know a lot of people did, but I think of the two major music biopics that came out within the past couple of years, uh, I would actually say this is the better one, and I do hope that one day Freddie Mercury's story is told a little bit more dynamically. I'll just put it that way. Up next is a sort of a creepy sci-fi film. It's a little mix of Invasion of the Body Snatchers meets Little Shop of Horrors, and it's called Little Joe. It's a British film. It stars Ben Winshaw, who a lot of people might know from the current Bond movies. Basically, it's a biologist who makes a flower to mass produce and then notices strange things happen when someone breathes in the pollen. I think it's a really effective thriller. And again, I kind of like these movies that sort of play off of things that we already have. I don't go like, it's a ripoff. I'm like, look, there's only so many stories to tell, and hey, if you have a new take on a killer plant story, why not tell it? Can't be any worse than some of the weird schlocky eco horror I've seen from the 70s and 80s. You want to see a schlocky movie about nature striking back? Watch Squirm, preferably the MST3K episode. Up next is a movie that I'm not quite sure is a good movie, but it contains a great performance by its lead. It's Vox Lux starring Natalie Portman. It is a weird one. It is about a girl who survives a Columbine style shooting and becomes a massive pop star and then grows into Natalie Portman. Again, I'm not quite sure what this movie's trying to do, but Natalie Portman is fantastic in it, and she really kind of gets that developmentally arrested, annoying pop star that, unfortunately, some of these, both actors and singers are. They become famous when they're still adolescents and they never quite grow up after that. So I would say if you want a good Natalie Portman performance, I would watch Vox Lux. Or if you want to see just a well made but still not quite coherent movie, but still, I think Natalie Portman's performance is great. And I kind of wish it was talked about a bit more, but usually, if there's a great performance in a not so great movie, that usually gets pushed by the wayside. Up next is a documentary starring Eileen Atkins, Joan Plowright, Maggie Smith, and Judi Dench, and it is called Tea with the Dames. So these are four actresses. They've worked together professionally for years, and we all know who these women are. If you're a Harry Potter fan or Downton Abbey, you especially know who Maggie Smith is, and I hope everybody knows who Judi Dench is. That woman's a legend. And it's a very nice documentary with them just meeting up and talking. And it's very nice to see four women who all respect each other professionally, but also love each other as friends. So if you're a fan of their past films, you will love this movie. On with documentaries is Jane, and this is the documentary about Jane Goodall and how she came to become an advocate for primates. I saw this at Red River Theater last summer. This one, it was one of their features, and I think it's a pretty good documentary. It is always a little interesting to see documentaries when someone is still alive, but she helps out a lot of context to it. So if you're interested in that, that would be a very good watch. Um, Finally, for documentaries, with all the SpaceX stuff in the news, I figured a good space documentary would be good. And Hulu has a bunch of them, but the one that kind of stood out to me was Above and Beyond, NASA's Journey to Tomorrow. And it was about NASA space missions, but it was also talked about how it came to influence and affect everyday stuff that we do. And I think sometimes people look at space mission and they don't quite know how everyone benefits from it. But there are a lot of technologies and stuff that we use now that were initially discovered in the process of space missions. So I know Derry. It's Space Town, USA. We're always looking for some new things about space, so I would give that a shot. And finally, I have two binge-worthy shows for you. The first is Bob's Burgers. This is a great animated television show starring H. John Benjamin, the voice actor extraordinaire, also Kristen Shaw, and Eugene Meerman, one of my favorite comedians. It is not just a great cartoon, I think it's one of the best family shows out there, and it really, for me, harkens back to original Simpsons stuff. So, where, the family drives each other crazy, but they all still love each other. And the final one I'm going to recommend is Better Things, which stars actress Pamela Adlon. You might know her from her former contributions with Louis C.K. She has kind of distanced herself from them, but I think this is a great show. It's about her being a working actress and trying to raise her three daughters. I've always found her to be an incredibly entertaining person, even if she's just in interviews, so highly recommend this show. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will be on tomorrow, pre-recorded, with Freebie Friday. Have a good day.